Hi, guys.
Hey,
I'm
Hello.
here with Matt and Corinne Travis. We worked together sleep training their little one um, to get to sleep.
amazing. It's literally it's almost 8 o'clock now, and they've been down for 45 minutes, and mind blown.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Why don't you tell everybody before finding fabulous sleep solutions what your biggest frustrations and struggles were with your toddler?
For sure. So just to give you a little background, like we have two children. So we have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. And our first child, he's always been a pretty good sleeper, right? So we never really went through something like this. And then we had our second one. And for any parents out there that know what having a second one's like, it's just a totally different ballgame, right? And he just threw a lot more curveballs at us. He's just never really been a great sleeper. And it just got progressively worse. And part of it was we were kind of giving into it. Like we put him to bed and he'd come out, and he's really fun and adorable. And he is really good at, he's a crowd pleaser, I guess. Do you agree?
He's pretty cute.
Like he's just cute, and he makes it be like, all right, you can stay out here with us. But then we'd be putting him down at 8 p.m. and then he would be up until, like he'd be coming out, and we'd put him back 9:30. This is just not appropriate, right? So that was the first straw. And I think the last straw was he would come into our room at night. Okay, so he would leave. This is once we opened up his bed, and he would start walking into our room. And he would, of course, I'm the first line of defense, so he would climb up on me and over me, and then he'd climb in the middle of us, and the rolling around alligator style, right? Yes, he's like a rolling alligator in our bed. And sometimes he'll sleep sideways. So like he's sleeping sideways with both of us, and you wake up exhausted, absolutely, completely exhausted, right? Because he's sleeping, he's getting sleep, but not really, is what I learned. And then, we're both tired the next morning.
Right.
And to be honest with you, we waited so long.
Well, we just kept thinking it would get better.
Yes. Just the hoping, wishing, and wanting, right?
Eventually he'll grow out of it.
And that didn't happen.
So how many times would you say each night before you just would give up and cave, would you go back and forth trying to take him back to his room?
Honestly, for a while there, we weren't. We were just literally leaving him in the bed. And then eventually there was one night.
Leave him in the bed, but I would put him down at 8, and then he'd come out until 9:30, just come back out here. And then, it would probably be about 45 minutes, 9:30, if he still wasn't down. Then I would pick him up and bring him into our bed because I was ready for bed. And he'd sleep.
And then I would usually bring him and put him in his bed. But at nighttime, it basically got to the point where at nighttime I was like, he can't be in here anymore. We'd put him in his bed and he'd be crying, or like I'd hear him like walking around and stuff like that. So it just got to the point where I didn't know what I didn't know. Like I really didn't know what to do, and Corinne didn't know either. And I mean, just so people that see this understand, like I teach adults how to get healthy and happy. Like I'm a health coach and a business coach, and I help adults learn how to sleep and optimize their sleep. But it was just such a massively different ballgame with my 2-year-old. There's so many things I didn't know, and especially because our first one didn't have any issues. This was just it was too much. And it was finally when, it was probably about a month after I actually reached out to you first that I was like, it just, of course, kept happening. And you're just trying to hold on and hoping, wishing, wanting. And I just, finally was like, we're doing this. This is happening. We got to change this. Because
I also didn't know that you could sleep train a toddler. I thought it was all like little kids, new, 6 months and up, 6 months to maybe like a year. And then I thought we were done. I thought this was just it.
Oh yeah, we can work with kids all the way through their adolescence.
which is amazing. And we don't have to do that because he's all he's trained at this point. Yeah. So the thing is that I know that there's going to be regressions at times, right? But at the end of the day, the goals that we set out to accomplish in this program, what we got out of the program was we wanted him to stay in his bed at night. He does that all through the night. We don't see him until the morning, which is amazing. Okay. That alone is priceless. And our sleep is now like my sleep is optimized. Her sleep is, we're sleeping happier parents. And really, I think for us, it was like, we wanted to make sure that we were giving Jude a chance to actually optimize his sleep. Like, it was about him getting healthier and happier and making sure that he was getting what he needed. Because, I mean, before working with you, I didn't know how much time a child needed to sleep. I didn't know, right? So, like, how long does a 2-year-old need to sleep?
Right.
A lot longer than what I was doing.
Well, I think the biggest thing we learned was the time in between naps, because I read the hours he needed to sleep and he was at the bottom of the range, but we were meeting it. But it was more that he was up for too long when he woke up in the morning to when he went down for his afternoon nap.
Right.
And that was something we never would have pinpointed.
And I also feel like there was a lot of misunderstanding too. Like, there was a lot of things that I thought I knew, but I didn't really know. And here's an example. When he's wired and jumping all over the place, I was like, oh, he's just not ready for bed. That was like what my brain was telling me. And because it makes sense, but it was not at all the case.
Right.
It was not at all the case. I mean, he was sleep deprived, right? He wasn't getting enough. So it was actually making him in more sleep debt. And, there's also, we as human beings, we just tell ourselves stories. We tell ourselves stories of what we think we can or can't do, right? I know before this, Corinne and I's story was, there's no way we can get them into bed before 8 o'clock. There's just no way. Between getting them home, books, bath, getting them ready for bed, eating dinner, all that stuff, we just were like, it's not an option. And then we're going to have less time with them. And there's just so many things going on in our minds that we were just like, it's just not possible.
Right.
So we reached out to you.
Yes.
And
how is life different now? What kind of results did you get? What does your life look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think
how is Jude different?
Yeah.
Right away, we noticed a difference. There was just a few things that we implemented from the beginning that you had told us. And like night one, he didn't come in. It did take a while to work on getting him down without crying and staying in bed, but we saw differences in him right away.
And I think it's also learning how to do that, right? How to go through it. Because before all of this and before working with you, the only option I thought there was to put them into their bed and then you literally have to hang out with them for 3 nights while they cry their minds out, right? That's what the mainstream tells you have to do if you're trying to sleep train a child, right? And I'm like, that sounds miserable and absolutely horrible, and I do not want to do that. And I feel like it's going to be traumatizing for us as well as traumatizing for the child, right? And I'm sure you hear that all the time, but so really for us, it was like, we gave you what we wanted. We said, this is what we want. These are our goals. And we hit them over and over again. And the mind-blowing thing within 2 to 3 weeks we are living a completely different life. I mean, we have time. We're like hanging out together, right? Like it's absolutely amazing that we get time back together. We have more quality time with them because we really maximize our time with them when they're awake. And even our older one is now going to bed early. So it's like the ripple effect of all of it, right? And you know, I know how much time it would have taken us if we had tried to do it on our own, right? We may never even got here because there was so many different pieces that you put into place to make it so we could actually have that stuff. And you know what I think a big part for us was too, is that it was really impacting me. And I know there's a lot of moms out there that are super impacted by it, but their husbands aren't really impacted by it. I mean, the fact that he was coming in and climbing on me first really made me massive gratitude and appreciation for her whole first year of waking up to feed the baby. You know, and a year and a half, folks. Okay, and the thing is I think too many times we don't understand. So the fact that I was losing sleep and she was losing sleep, there was a no-brainer, and it was something we should have done way before because we didn't know what we didn't know, right? So now he's sleeping through the night. We're sleeping through the night. We're all happier. Our older son's sleeping more. He doesn't get out of bed until it's time. He's, you know, we're working on speech stuff with him. That's coming along better. I just feel like he's a happier kid and we're happier. And I mean, that is literally priceless. And I would put it at the top of the category of things that I invest in. As a coach, I invest in a lot of things myself to improve my business, my health, my lifestyle. This was one of the best investments I've ever made, hands down. And probably if we're thinking about results wise, it's some of the quickest results I've ever had in anything that I've ever invested in.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you saying that because it is very rewarding, and being able to work with families and get the results relatively quickly. You know, it's definitely a roller coaster going through it, but I believe that in the end, I haven't worked with a family yet that has said it wasn't worth it. So
exactly.
And it is definitely a different approach than just letting your child cry it out, I think is a huge plus, because nobody wants to hear their baby cry. It's heartbreaking.
I mean, while he was upset and didn't love things and pushed back a little, I feel like through your method, like he was still comforted by us and we were still there for him. Like I felt
we were in it together. We were in it together. It was
with
awesome.
That comfort. So like while he was pushing back, I mean, he's totally pushed back on everything, but it never really felt like we just like abandoned him. And I don't think he felt like that either. So he like learned how to fall asleep.
Awesome. Well, it was such a pleasure to work with you guys. I feel blessed to get to know you and work with your family. I'm so grateful. So thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. And I'll say this, if anybody's thinking about this or on the fence or has a story around why they can't do it or why they shouldn't do it or whatever, remember, it's just a story, and this could change everything for you on so many levels. So don't think, just do it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you
Don't
guys
like
so
much.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you do,
Nip it earlier.
You can toddler.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you coming on here tonight with me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.